the morning, but ha. Well, yeah, what do you want to talk about today, brother?
I have a series of questions for you. I prepared.
Well, yeah, hit me with it.
So we begin serious with a question. My first question: does a black magician go to hell after death and is tortured, or does he reign as a demon if he deserves it?
Well, that's really a great question. There's an infinite number of possibilities of what could happen after death. I can't remember who said this, but there's a quote. I wish I could remember who said this, but there's a quote that says the keys to hell are locked from within, or the doors to hell are locked from within. And so what that really means is that whatever torture or punishment we're in, whether it's in this life or in another life, we're only in there because we want to be in there, because it serves a purpose for us, or because we feel like we deserve to be there. So if a person believes that they've done evil in this life, they're going to they're going to make sure that they get the punishment they feel they deserve. Here's the thing on the astral plane that's really interesting. When I first started learning how to astral project, I was kind of just floating around the astral plane, checking stuff out. I got like just different crazy stuff happening all over the astral plane. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, I wonder if I can create something here. And so I thought about a lotus. I thought about a lotus, and it just blossomed in my hand, like right away. Boom, there's a lotus in my hand. And I was like, dang, I wonder if I can make a whole like mansion. And as soon as I visualized it, boom, it built itself on the astral plane. So I was like, wait a minute, whoa, like all I have to do is think it, believe it, and push it with just a little bit of energy, and anything can get built on the astral plane. So at the moment of your death, if you think you're going to go to hell, well, you're going to create that. That's probably
Mm.
already created for you.
The power of the will.
Right. And so there is a teaching that's in almost every religion that that at the moment of your death, you should connect with your savior, your God, your Messiah, whatever that is for you. And so as black magicians, this gives us a unique task because we don't have a savior, we don't have a God. And so what is it that we focus on? I might find myself simply focusing at the moment of my death on the image of the inverted pentagram as a gateway that leads to my next whatever is. Um, there is a huge mystery involved, with death. Uh, because there are a lot of things that can happen on the astral plane. Okay, so here's my understanding of it. When you die, your spirit bodies disconnect from your physical body, but it's still spirit bodies that have illusory forms. One of those forms is the astral form. So and so if it still looks like you, that's not the actual immortal soul. And so there's a period of breaking away. Usually takes about 3 days for the connection between the soul and the body to evaporate after the body's dead. And so after about 3 days, then the psychic bodies can wander on. But then it's an astral body that goes into the astral plane and has an astral experience. Now, that's where you could experience a heaven or a hell or any number of things that could exist and do exist on the astral plane. Hey, kitty. But, but yeah, you see, you could really experience all kinds of things in that astral experience, but eventually you're going to die from that as well. This is what's referred to in religion as the second death, that you actually have a shedding of that illusion as well, where your true soul is then freed. Now, at that point, if you have no experience in your astral body, if you're not a master of traveling in your soul, you're just going to get basically absorbed back into everything, and then
Mm.
recycled. And the part of you that still exists isn't you anymore. You've just become part of the all. Now, where I think
Should we believe the demons when they are serious with you and they tell you I'm calling you, you have a throne in hell, and it's an honor. You serve us. Should we
So,
believe
so
that?
no, that's very true. They do. Now, here's the thing about that, though. That throne in hell, that's not waiting for you after you die. That's for you right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And you know, so what happens after you die is really, I think if you do it right, it's completely up to you what happens after you die. And so
Mm.
the way to harness that is soul travel, to get accustomed to leaving your body, to get used to it to the point that after you're dead, it's not a different experience. It's the same experience as you've done a million times of soul travel, and then you just simply go, because there is going to be a shock, like, oh shit, I'm actually out of my body. It actually happened. I'm actually dead now. I'm sure that's going to be a shock. We all have, but then you're going to be able to go, oh, now I know what to do. And for me, I want to get back here as quick as possible. I want to get back into this world as quick as possible. And unless this world is, I mean, there's a chance we might blow this whole world up. So if this world doesn't exist anymore, then I'll have to come up with another plan. But my plan is to get reincarnated as quick as possible and to keep doing this work. So you're probably going to have a little 8-year-old guy somewhere in the world that starts writing crazy books about black magic like 8 years after I die. But yeah, so anyways, the promises that the demons make of a throne in hell. So I'm going to say, if you have not sat on that throne while alive, you'll never sit on it after your death. But if you've learned how to actually assume your throne in hell, which I'm going to say, here's my thoughts with it. First off, make yourself an actual throne. This is like, I've got a throne. I'm not sitting in it today. And actually, here's the thing with my throne. It's not comfortable. It's not a comfortable chair to sit in when I'm having a conversation. It's a chair that I sit in only when I'm wanting to actually sit in my seat of command. And so, I mean, this can be just a chair that you build. This can just, for me, I went and bought a chair, and then I started adding stuff onto it and making it really, look cool. I painted it all cool. You don't even have to do that. Just go buy a chair that you can sit in. That chair is for nothing but sitting in your throne. And then have that in a specific spot. You're probably going to want to move it around as you go to find the exact spot for it. But sit in that, and then as you're sitting in that chair, with your eyes open, let your mind do the double take where you're seeing this world, but your inner vision is starting to see the infernal empire. And as you do that, it's going to start to develop around you, and you're going to start to see you are sitting on your throne. And then from there, that's where I would do your rituals from. So when people, if you ever see a video of me doing a ritual, you think I'm sitting here in my temple. That's just what it looks like. I'm really sitting in my kingdom in the infernal empire.
Yeah.
So
Myself,
yeah.
I created a big castle in the astral plane, and almost every day I come back to this castle and I ameliorate things. I make a forgery for weapons.
Mm.
I have a bank account kept by a dragon, big, a lot of gold and gems. Uh,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
that's cool. That is cool.
I think these things we create on the astral plane are much significant that we can imagine in this life. Maybe we create a life for after, in effect.
One and it could, well, yes, and one and let's even take this to another level. I don't know that, did I create that lotus in my hand on the astral plane, or was there already a lotus there and I became aware of it, and my awareness drove me to ask for it to materialize? There's this interesting play at hand. Do we really have free will at all? Or is this just a million different spirits possessing us, making us think that we have free will? Now, along with that, with the visions that the demons are showing us, the treasury you just talked about, that's not just, you didn't create that. So hate to break it to you, you didn't create that, because I've seen the same thing and Connor Kendall has seen the same thing. That's called the
Okay.
infernal. That's the infernal treasury. You have seen the infernal treasury guarded by an enormous dragon. The dragon is really nice to you and me. He's not so nice to people who come and try to steal the gold. And so what you can do with this infernal treasury is as you're connecting with it in the astral plane or in the infernal realm is deeper than the astral plane. So in the infernal realm, as you're connecting with that infernal treasury, you're going to start to notice an increase of wealth in your life, or increase of abundance, or lessening of your bills and your obligations. And so that infernal treasury is a very real thing. So even though we think we're just imagining it, I think we're actually locking on to something that is real. I think anything that we imagine, we're not just imagining. I don't think we're actually creating anything with our brains. I think we're receiving things from potential futures, or receiving things from other dimensions, receiving things from spirits whispering. This is why I've really started to question free will, because like for a lot of my life, there are moments that I know that I've asserted my will, and I said like, no, I'm not going to do this or whatever, and I've asserted my will. But did I do that because Satan is there being like, hey, like, you need to do this, or you need to not do this, or because Azazel's there? There's no point that I'm not being influenced by something. All of us are. And so what you really have to, I think what we have to be careful of then, it's not even a matter of trying to like get our will to do what we want to do. It's a matter of bringing the right spirits around us. That all we have to do is start bringing the right spirits around us, and then we're gonna find ourselves motivated to go to the gym if we're working with Martian spirits. It's not like we got to get disciplined. We just have to have the right spirits around us.
Mhm. Okay. So, other question, can you talk to me about your book, Ars Zoetia, and what is it about?
Yeah, yeah. So, hold on a second. So Ars Zoetia is a book I wrote with Martin McGregor, and it's actually an ongoing work. So Zoetia. Well, let me begin with Martin and I are both practicing Satanists. When I say practicing, it's not like we just believe in Satan, but we contact him and get his help with things. And we have been for most of our lives. And we're also practicing magicians. And so we've been working with the systems of the Goetia for as long as we've been able to do evocations. And we've both been bothered by the fact that the descriptions of these spirits are not actually what these spirits are. They're not actually demons. They're not actually evil. They're not actually imps that live in hell that are afraid of Jesus. None of that's true. All of this stuff. So it's like everything that's written about them has lies attached to it. And so how we approached Satan with this was like, hey, and actually it was Satan that in our workings with him started showing us the way that we've understood these demons is really inaccurate. To start understanding them in a different way. That was, I think, the first breadcrumb that we got. And so we both came together and started doing this combined work of trying to understand these demons without the filters of their personalities. And what Satan gave us, well, first he gave us a ritual system that involves a ton of fire. And so you take you build an idol, you worship this idol, and then you take it outside. You have to do this outside. Take it outside and light the idol on fire on your altar, and then turn your back on it. Summon all of the spirits that you've bound into that idol, all of the demons, summon them into the circle, and then you step into the triangle and let them possess you. Let them and with that, light the triangle on fire as well. So with this, I've dug trenches in my ground outside in my backyard. Like just, it's so crazy because it's just like I got my patio, just my back patio, and then right off of that I've got a big summoning circle and triangle that I light on fire. but I've got trenches dug, and so what I'll do is I'll lay some rope, some cotton rope inside those trenches, and then drizzle camp fuel on that. You got to be careful what kind of fuel you use. Do not use gasoline for this. Kerosene can work. Camp fuel is what I use, and so light that on fire so the triangle's burning. I step inside that triangle, that burning triangle, which is a gateway of power. It is an infernal gateway, a triangle of fire for sure. And then the spirits that I've bound into that idol come through me, possess me, and uh, teach me what they need to teach me about how to use their power, how to access that power. So the very first time we did this ritual, it was with Satan. So we built an idol to Satan. The idol that I did to Satan is I took a holy Bible, I went and bought a big Bible, and I flipped through the pages and I wrote in the Bible. I got some sheep's blood, the blood of a lamb, and I wrote in the pages of the Bible different curses on God, and yeah, yeah, just different curses on God, on Christianity, on uh everything that the Bible stands for. Then that was my connection to Satan. And then took that, bound his, and did that over a series of days, bound his spirit into that Bible, and then lit that on fire. His presence filled up the circle thick. And I lit the triangle on fire, stepped inside of it, and sat down. I actually put a chair in there for me, sat down, got my notebook out, and he gave me Ars Zoesha. He gave me every chapter of that book. He gave me every instruction for the rituals, everything that I needed. While I sat there, he gave me the outlines for it all and all the instructions to work it out. Martin was doing the same thing. I'm here in Utah. He's in Illinois, so we're across the country from each other. But on the same night, he was doing the exact same ritual, and so he received his part of Ars Zoesha. I received my part. We compared notes after the ritual, and we basically received the exact same things from Satan. And so we started fleshing that out as far as this exact ritual system, how to approach it. It is a very unique way of working ritual that involves, first off, like I said, you get an idol or the objects of your ritual, even just getting an altar and putting your sigils on there and candles. For a major working, do your working over several days, and take some at least a part of those days. We like to divide it into thirds. So if I'm going to do a 3-day ritual, for the first day, I'm just going to connect with the energy. I'm going to we call it loading. You're going to load up the altar and the idol with all of the spirits and the powers that you need. What you're doing at that point is you're igniting it, and the spirits and demons are going to come and do the rest of the work. And so then for the second day, that's our day of reckoning. So then I'm going to take that idol, take that outside, light it on fire, and consume those spirits. The third day would be my day of working, where I'm going to actually sit down with a paper and pen and figure out what those spirits have told me to do, whether that's actions I need to take in my life, or whether that's new ritual postures or ritual things that I need to do. So Ars Zoesha, to break it down, one of the things, okay, there's another element real quick. Another element of it is Satan gave me a piece and then Martin a piece of a cipher that we took the names of every demon in the Goesha and then a couple extra demons that aren't in the Goesha that we have personal connections with, took their names, and I put them into my cipher. And it's a simple substitution cipher. He told me specifically, this letter becomes this letter, this letter becomes this letter, this letter becomes this letter. So I took each name, put it through my substitution cipher. I gave that to Martin. He put that through his. He had a separate cipher that's not a substitution. I'm not sure what he was given actually, but he put it through his cipher and then twisted it one more way. And then we sent it through a third process and twisted it yet another way. And what we ended up with was 3 elements of each demon. So Satan's name breaks down to let me actually bring up my master table real quick, because I've got a master table that is included in the Ars Zoetia book. So Satan's name, after those processes we put it through, breaks down to Akin, Tok, and Keeg. So Akin, the translation we got for that is familiar. Tok is course or direction, and Keeg is home or earth. Those don't seem like anything that we know Satan as. Those are elements that are extracted from him. The way that I the way that I see it in my mind is it's almost like we put a needle into the veins of each of these demons and we pulled out three elements or three powers from each of those demons, three of their essential powers. Now you take each of those and you can combine these to create new elements. You can combine these to create new names of demons that you can then give birth to through these rituals. You can combine these various elements. We've got, again, an entire table. You combine these elements to create new incantations and prescriptions. So there's a lot that's built into the system. So it mainly relies on fire as the gateway. That's one huge thing. And it's actually kind of crazy. I've been doing black magic my entire life. And right now I'm 43 years old and I'm finally seeing how underestimated fire has been in black magic. Like for the most part, we're black magicians. Every now and again, we'll get together and do something around a bonfire, and that's about it. We'll use candles in our rituals, and that's about it. What I've been doing is fucking lighting everything on fire. That I'm standing inside a fire. Now, when I do this, I've got specific robes that I have sprayed down with fire retardant spray and stuff, so I don't catch myself on fire. But I am surrounded by fire. Every instinct in my body is telling me to run away, that this is dangerous and get the hell out of there. But then just to buckle in and go, nope, nope, I am receiving what I'm receiving. It does something quite unique.
So Ars Goetia is the true book of Satan.
Ars Zoetia is the true work of Satan for sure. Well, and to talk about the name for a second too. Goetia.
Zoetia, sorry, I maybe said Goetia.
No, yeah, no, you're good though. But when you look at Goetia, the lesser key of Solomon, the term Goetia, it actually signifies the spirits of the underworld or the spirits of death. The Goetia does. Look at the word Zoetia. Zoetic are the spirits of life, the energies of life. And that's one interesting thing that's happened with the demons. They have been called demons. They've been put into the underworld. They're considered to be destructive. All of those things are lies. And so what we've actually been doing through the Zoetia is we are trying to understand and reframe our experience with these entities as givers of life, bringers of life, because that's actually what they are. For instance, Beelzebub. Everybody thinks of Beelzebub as the Lord of the desert and the Lord of flies, right? And they associate that with him. But when you actually look into his presence and you develop this relationship with him, forget about what the grimoires say. Forget about what everybody in the world says. Just you and your connection with him, he brings life. He's a regenerative spirit. He's a springtime spirit, not a summer spirit. And so when you look at these things, it's like they have been perverted so much that we need to get back to a core understanding of who these entities are and specifically using their powers to make our lives better.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's crazy. We try to how to say that to make people believe in our craft, and it's fucking hard because they need visual proof. They want you get out a rabbit in a hat. Are you a true
Yeah.
magician? Make money appear in my desk. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard because we see so much things in the astral, and we live so much experiences, and people say, "I don't believe in tarot."
Yeah. Well, first off, never try to convince anybody of
Mm.
anything. Like that's just number one. Like, first off, when you're trying to convince somebody of something, you don't know if you're right. You don't know if you're right. You think you're right. You're pretty sure you're right, but that person is pretty sure they're right too. So there's a lot of ego in trying to convince somebody that you're right.
Yeah.
Um, And my big thing is like, I can't convince you I'm right. I'm never going to be able to convince you that I have power. That's crazy. What I'm having a hard time with is convincing myself that I have power. So that's where my convincing needs to go. Is I need to convince myself every day that I have the ability to do the things that I need to do in this world and the next world, and that I can that whatever that this all requires me persuading myself of these things. But then also, but rather than persuading anybody else, persuade yourself. But then the second part of that is, if people are looking, if they're asking the question sincerely of like, is this real? And they want evidence of it, give them a sigil to charge. Give them a sigil to charge. That is the biggest thing. I used to do this in my so when I first started writing books, I kind of looked at the way that people used to market books. You would do lectures, you would do book signings and stuff like that. And that was, before the internet was really a thing, that was the only way to sell books. So that's what I would do. I'd go out to these events. I would have my trunk full of my books, and I would sell them just to people there. Oh, $10 a book, here you go. Oh, whatever they could give me for a book. I just wanted to get my books out into the world. And so every time I go do a lecture, I would have a stack of sigils with me, and usually it would be money for some sort of money magic. I would give my lecture, and I would see people are kind of like, oh, that's interesting theory. And that's when I would say at the end of the lecture, I say, okay, so if you want to see how this is put into practice and you actually want to see for yourself if this is real, follow me in this visualization. Then I would pass out the sigils and guide everybody into a simple sigil charging visualization. And the first few times I did this, on the back of the sigil, I had written my email address, and I just asked them to keep the sigil, and when they see that it works, to email me. And I was getting probably about 80% of the people were emailing me. Oh my God, this is so crazy. Now I know. I was really not sure, but the money came, or this and this happened. And not every single person, again, about 80% of the people had amazing experiences that proved magic to them. So you can have that. You can definitely have. I've and now for the other 80%. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Those are the people that were just like, I can see that they're just looking at the sigil and they're kind of like, they got their eyebrows raised, and they're not really invested in it. They don't really believe it. They're not putting their energy into it. And those are the 20% that didn't get any result.
What is really crazy is sometimes when you try to manifest something like physical, an object that you have to buy with money, but you made a ritual before. You, I went to my family's home, and a few bills were somewhere in the house. And I took the bills and no problem. After, it's crazy when the goal of the ritual really works, like you forget about it because it fucking works.
Yeah, yeah. And
But
a lot.
you have to meet your results. You can't wait in a room and hope it's gonna come from the sky. I was like that at the beginning.
Well, I had a guy who signed up for my gatekeeper ritual just barely, just like a week ago, and I did the ritual for him, sent him the video for it, and in the video, the gatekeepers came so strong, and I could feel them. I could see Beelzebub coming to this man and placing a crown of thorns on his head. And he says, now he wears his own self upon him. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but I'm going to tell him what that is. So I email him, give him the video, I give him the notes, and I was like, this is really strong. These spirits are working upon you now. It's all good. You're good to go. You follow along with the ritual. I gave him his instructions, with my gatekeeper ritual, have them light a candle and go along with the ritual with me so they can activate it on their end. But he emails me back and he says, okay, if the gatekeepers need help finding me, here's my address. And he gives me his home address. And I was thinking, what does he think is going to happen here? Like, does he think Beelzebub is flying through the air with his phone trying to find him? And, oh, I should have taken a left at Tennessee. No, that's not what the hell does he think is going on? So I email him back. I'm like, what's your, and he goes, well, they never came. Nobody ever came to my house. And I was like, no, the gatekeepers are spirits. They're going to work upon you invisibly in the supernatural realm. And he thought that somebody was going to materialize in his house or something. So anyways, people have a lot of really strange physical ideas of what's going to happen. And when you can get over that and stop, in other words, stop expecting your eyes to see it. Stop expecting your ears to hear it, and then you have an experience that is far beyond your eyes and your ears, something that's undeniable. Your eyes do see things sometimes, your ears will hear things sometimes, but once you bypass that and don't even worry about it, that's when your actual consciousness is able to expand and go much deeper than before.
Yeah, true. So I have a lot of questions, and 10 minutes are remaining.
Okay.
Do you practice all the different kind of magic from Become a Living God in your books that you release with other authors? Do you practice them all, or sometimes do you publish the book and stay focused on your own magical ascent?
Sometimes like so for instance, I don't use a lot of voodoo. I'll combine some voodoo into my necromancy. um I don't use a lot of rune magic or Viking magic. So sometimes like I'll hit it really hard for the time I'm doing the release, and then I kind of what I'll do is I'll take tools and I'll add those tools to my toolbox, as I say. but uh
Mm.
but yeah, I don't and sometimes I'll bring different deities from these different paths and add them into my, because around my temple I've got different idols and icons from different things that have come from all of my path workings. So I feel like maybe as I'm path working each path, I'm like finding the best stuff and I'm bringing that with me. And then the rest of it, it's not like the rest isn't good, it's just not what I need right now.
Okay.
Yeah. But one big thing is I'm always being pulled forward. Like for instance, right behind me is all my radionic stuff. This is going to be the next spell book we do, and this summer is going to be a radionic spell book that I'm going to teach you how to build my device. I'm going to teach you.
Awesome.
I tell you every single thing that's on there, how to wire it together, how to make it all work. I teach you how to build your own little devices like this. I tell you how to wire it all, how to build it yourself. So and then all the different crazy applications of it. I've got LD Alchemist that's going to be doing some stuff with this. JS Garrett's going to be helping with the video course. Connor Kendall has written a really good piece for it. So,
Awesome.
but anyways, with all of that, like I'm always moving forward. So a lot of times it means that I do have to almost grudgingly drop things that I've done, like voodoo, for instance, real fun, vote on, I should say, real fun, amazing stuff. I just don't have time to go out into the desert with cornmeal and rum and do the whole rituals and stuff because I'm in here doing stuff with this. So it's almost like I'm always being pulled forward, and so and the rate that I move, because most people will most people will find a path and then they're on that path for like years or maybe even their entire lives. I roll through them. I go through the path. I take what I can. I give the instructions to people, and then I'm on to the next thing. And yeah, so that's kind of just the way I roll, though.
Yeah. Are you satisfied by the release of the grimoire of Daniel Ramos, Dragus, and his video course?
Yeah. Oh man, I don't have it. I thought I had it here so I could show it off, but I don't. I don't know where I put it right over there. But yeah, no, it's really cool. So what I feel like he did with the three tomes of Dragas is it's very similar to what I did with Spider and Green Butterfly, of taking an African traditional religion that had never really been written about in a way that exposed it to Western magicians, and he's been able to do that. But where he did a better job than me, for sure, is that he grew up in Brazil. He grew up with this religion, so this is all about Kimbanda, Brazilian Kimbanda. And which in Brazil, Kimbanda is thought to be, it's like the most dark devil worship in the world. And they do blood sacrifice of animals all the time. Like that's a constant practice that they do.
I saw that.
Yeah. Well, I asked him, I said, is it legal? And he says, yeah, it's actually illegal for somebody to stop you from doing a sacrifice. I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but he grew up with it. So yeah, this book is a really good it's a really good expose of that, as well as giving you instructions on how to build all the altars, how to work with the 7 different kingdoms of Kimbanda. He's got it all there. Yeah.
Awesome. Last question, maybe. Is it important to you to continue daily meditation after decades of magical practices?
I think it's important to have meditation, some kind of meditation that you do every day, just as a part of being a human. Um, I mean, just like drinking water, brushing your teeth, add meditation into your life. Now, sometimes that can be like I'll set a timer and just focus on my breath for 10 minutes or whatever. Sometimes I don't feel like that. Sometimes my meditation is like I'll go for a walk every day and just leave my phone at home, go for a silent walk and pay attention and be mindful of my walking. But build some sort of meditation that you are feeding your spirit every single day. And change it, change it up from time to time too. Like doing the exact same thing every single day, for the rest of your life is boring, and your mind is going to actually start to dismiss that as being something special. So make it special.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I try your last question if I have time. When you practiced the dark gift ritual with Andy Blackwood, did it affect you and your immortality? And if there are other ways than vampirism to attain immortality?
Well, yeah, I don't think any of us need to attain immortality. I think we're already immortal. The essence of who we are is already immortal. I think what we can do through all of our magical practices is to become conscious of that. I think the immortality that ND is talking about with vampirism, it is an immortality of the self that you are now. And you can do that through vampirism, you can do that through soul travel, but also through any of these paths, you're going to find things to leave behind and carry forward. So I think this is the point of all spiritual paths. All spiritual paths lead to some form of immortality. So, but again, that does require just simply engaging with your path. Now, with the dark gift ritual, did that do something to me? That did a lot. That did a lot to me, actually. Um, it was with that ritual and preparing for that ritual that I started to take vampirism seriously and actually take on that transformation of becoming a vampire myself. Vampirism's always been like something I've played with, a little toy I've played with. And at that ritual, it started to become something that I was actually taking on as becoming. And it's been positive in every way. One of the things that I did unlock directly after that ritual was the ability to shift into my Strigoi form. And it's not an astral form. It's actually it's closer to the physical realm than the astral plane, but it's a spirit body that you take on of an absolute monster. And then using this monster form, you can go feed off of masses of people.
Okay. So thank you very much, Koetting. That I don't have time left.
It's been
So
good. It's been
thanks a
good.
lot. Goodbye.
All right, bye, bye, bud. We'll talk soon. Bye.